Hello, this is Rogers Redding, National Coordinator of Football Officials. I want to welcome you to this third in the series of the special videos that we are creating, particularly for our media partners. We've gotten good feedback from you on these first two of these videos in this series. We have another set of plays that show some interesting situations regarding the rules and what officials are looking for on these plays. So I hope you enjoy this, and again, continue to give us feedback. And also feel free to give us suggestions about plays if there are situations that you would like to see, rules that are unclear that we can find examples of. We'd be glad to include them in this series. Okay, let's go ahead and get to the plays. This play is a good illustration of what happens at the end of a half when the clock is running down and a team is trying to get off some plays. This play happens to fit the rule exactly because the clock stops due to the first down, and then it will start again on the referee's signal. The rule says that if there are 3 seconds or more left on the clock, then the team may have an opportunity to spike the ball and run one more play. Now, that's not guaranteed. They have to execute the play, but at least with 3 seconds, they know they may have an opportunity. With less than 3 seconds on the clock, they only have time to run the one play. And you can see here that the team tries to spike the ball and then run another play. But of course, the half runs out because there was only 2 seconds on the clock when the referee wound the clock. So a good illustration of the rule that allows a team to have an opportunity to spike the ball and then run a second play with 3 seconds or more. And in this case, only 2 seconds. They only had time to run the one play.
The half is over. That's like occurred with less than 3 seconds.
This is a good example of an ineligible receiver downfield. The ball is snapped at the 4, and if you watch your right tackle, number 57, you can see that he drifts on into the end zone before the ball is thrown. You see this better on the replay. The rule is that if the pass crosses the neutral zone, then the ineligible receiver cannot be more than 3 yards downfield at any time during that time. This guy goes on into the end zone, tries to come back, but even though he tries to come back, that's not going to do him any good because he was downfield sometime during the play before the pass was thrown. So just a good illustration of the rule about ineligible receiver downfield.
With an ineligible receiver downfield, number 57, that's a 5-yard penalty. Replay second down.
We put this play on here as an illustration again of the invalid fair catch signal when a player who's about to receive a kick makes some kind of waving signal. There's still a little bit of confusion about this, so I thought it was worthwhile looking at another play. The rule is that when a player who's about to receive a kick gives any kind of waving signal at all, this is an invalid fair catch signal unless it is a signal that is one hand above his head waved side to side more than once. But any kind of waving signal at all means that the ball is going to be dead as soon as he gets possession of it. You can see that this player is confused about it, and others are often confused about it as well. So I thought it was worthwhile putting this play on again because you can clearly see that the player gives a waving signal. He's doing the getaway signal. He's trying to get everybody away from the ball. And that signal causes the ball to become dead once he gains possession of it. We keep seeing illustrations of the impact of the targeting rule, and here's a good example. Here's a play where a receiver comes across and the defender comes to get him, and in previous times it is quite likely that this player just might have blown him up. But you can see that he makes a perfectly legal hit. He gets his head out of the way. He uses his shoulder to drive into the shoulder and upper body of the receiver and does not go for his head neck area. So it's a good hard hit and certainly is a strong collision, but there is no targeting foul. This is a good legal play. Here's an illustration of the clock rules at the end of the half, which is somewhat different from the one we saw earlier. In this situation, we show the previous play so that you can see that the players are trying to line up and get a fast play off because the clock does not stop after the first play in this sequence. Since there was no reason to stop the clock, there was no first down. The action by the offensive team is an illegal shift that converts to a false start, and the officials correctly shut it down. Now, there may have been 1 or 2 seconds left on the clock, but since the offensive team did not have a timeout, And since it is a foul that causes the clock to stop, then the 10-second runoff rule applies, and with only 2 seconds or perhaps 1 second left in the half is over. Now, in the event that the offensive team had a timeout remaining, instant replay could have come in to determine whether or not there should have been some time left on the clock when the play was shut down for the false start. And if that had been the case, the offensive team could have avoided the 10-second runoff by using their timeout and had time for one more play. But as it stands, the half is over because of the 10-second runoff. The 3-second rule does not come into play here because the clock did not stop and then restart on the ready for play signal. The clock remained running because there was no reason to stop the clock on the previous play.
Ball start. Offense. All the players do now become legally set. By rule, there's a 10-second rule off. No timeouts apply. Halftime.
This next play provides a couple of teachable points about the roughing the passer rule, as well as the rule about an illegal forward pass when the passer is beyond the neutral zone when he releases the ball. You can see that the passer is ruled beyond the neutral zone when he releases the ball, and he is hit after that, and potentially a roughing the passer foul because of that action after he throws the ball. It is determined that he is not beyond the neutral zone when he passes the ball. The rule is that in order for it to be illegal, his entire body plus the ball must be beyond the neutral zone when the ball is released. And you can see that not entirely is he beyond the zone when the ball is released. It's important to notice, however, that this could be a roughing the passer foul whether or not the pass was legal. In other words, if he had been clearly beyond the neutral zone or clearly behind the neutral zone, it doesn't matter as far as the roughing the passer rule is concerned. He is considered a passer whether the pass he throws is legal or illegal, and the intent of the rule is to protect him in either case. And finally, I point out that if he had been over the line when he threw the ball, and we still had the roughing the passer foul, then there would have been offsetting fouls, one against the offense for the illegal forward pass, one against the defense for the roughing the passer. Those fouls would offset, and the down would be replayed.
To further review, we do not have a foul for an illegal forward pass beyond the line of scrimmage. However, since we did have a legal forward pass, we have a personal foul roughing the passer, defense into 56, a 15-yard penalty, and an automatic first down.
The last play in this set shows us a good illustration of offensive pass interference. The receiver to the bottom of the screen goes down the field and shoves off against the defender in order to create some space for himself to catch a pass. You can see this really well on the replay, where clearly the receiver extends his arm to push the defender away and then moves in the other direction to catch the pass. This is offensive pass interference.
Pass interference, number 16 offense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Here's the offensive pass interference foul that generated quite a bit of comment at the end of this game. You can see that the widest receiver and the split end both blocked down on defenders, allowing number 88 to cut off those blocks and catch the pass for the apparent touchdown. So this is correctly called as offensive pass interference, and the penalty was correctly enforced to erase the touchdown.
Pass interference on the offense. Number 7, 15-yard penalty, replay fourth down.
This brings us to the close of this set of plays. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your feedback. Continue to give us your suggestions and comments. We welcome those because we want to make this series of videos useful to you. And thanks so much for what you do for the game of college football.